Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's everywhere. Today is January 10th, a day before January 11th. Um, Happy Friday, everyone. Uh, Hope that you are well. And I wanted to say how much we Californians really appreciate everyone's sending safety wishes and well wishes to all of us. We really appreciate you. I know that there are still some people are still affecting with the fire. I know that there are a few folks in our family, our big unpassive family, are affecting by the fire, and I know that there are some loved ones are actually affecting by it. We thankful that we're not close to it yet, but as soon as hopefully the wind stops so that this doesn't go bigger. But we pray that everyone who are affected and especially the people are not here worrying about their loved one on this side. So prayers are helpful, and prayers are continuously asking to keep all the loved ones in California in our prayer. With that goes, I wanted to say hello, Michael. Hello, everybody. I hope you are well.
Hello, Julie. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am doing fantastic. Thank you.
Perfect. Always excited to come here to have a conversation with you, Michael, and especially today. This topic that we kind of wanted to talk about is tuning in and tuning out. So, in the world that is life and business that we're involving in, or our life, tuning in and tuning out, I believe is a really powerful strategies that really can help us to either align with our goals, focus on our personal growth, and also help us to maintain that positive and resilient mindset and the way that we are living. And so today we wanted to really dive deep into what's tuning in, what's tuning out. Maybe, hopefully, in our conversation, everyone who's watching and watch later, maybe be able to pull out some of what we're discussing here, and hopefully to help you, to motivate you, and to boost your, I guess, motivation and your encouragement in life and in business as well. So let's dive into it, Michael. So what's tuning in, Michael? What's tuning in and tuning out for you?
Well, tuning in, right, obviously is, paying attention to something, right, whatever that something is. You tune into a show, sometimes you tune people out, people talking to you, you don't want to really hear them. It's like my wife would say, okay, did you hear what I just said? I was like, so I already tuned out, so I didn't really hear what she said, right? Or the kids them talking to you and you tune them out, etc. So I think most people understand what tuning in is and what tuning out is, but we certainly want to have a discussion on it, maybe just to bring it back to people's attention, get them to think about it, get them to apply it within their daily lives. But certainly, tuning in is, you're paying attention to something, right? You're focusing on something, and so we know that we always want to focus on things that are positive in life, right? So I like to tune in to positive things, including the shows I watch, the movies I watch, the books that I read, social media presence, everything in my life that I tune into. For me, it always surrounds positivity, right? Because that's the space that I want to find myself. That's the space that I encourage my family to be in. And so, therefore, it makes sense that I would extend that to our extended family by sharing with others that this is exactly what you want in your life, right? You want to tune in to where you're going to get the most value for your time, not necessarily value for money, but for your time, for the effort, that you give in anything that you do. You want to tune into that. You want to stay focused to something that's going to make your life better, right? You want to stay focused and tune in to where you know that you're getting the facts, you're getting truth, right? That's what to me life is all about, Julie. Right? It's making sure that as we go through our days, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. And now, especially at this time of year, is a great time to reflect and start to think and look forward to where we want to, tune into, right? There's a lot of noise that's out there. We know this in everything, right? You turn on the news, there's noise going on, right? You tune in and you're seeing so much negativity on the news, right? And so, is that where I want to focus my attention? Is that where I want to spend all my time, always watching the news? I watch the news to be up to date as to what's going on in the world, right? Certainly, you don't want to, you're not a hermit. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in a cave somewhere. You don't know what's going on. So you certainly want to tune in. So it's a good thing to tune in, but you also have to know when to tune out. You know what I mean? If I'm watching a show, for example, a movie, and there's things on there that I don't like. There's a lot of swearing going on. Maybe nudity or whatever. It's too violent. Whatever the case may be, whatever my beliefs are. If I'm seeing stuff that I don't like, I just tune out. Let's find another movie to watch. You know what I mean? Right? So I think people can do that in all aspects of their lives, whether it's personal, whether it's business, etc. So yeah, tuning in is very, very important in life, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. And what you're doing is you are giving the definition. You're giving a lot of example on it. I don't know if you remember, but I used to always say I have selective hearing. I believe that is another strategy for me to actually tune out to something that I negativity, tune out of something that I do not want to hear affecting me. For me, tuning in is basically you fully really engage in in the things that you want to do, right, to the resources. You really tune into because it's very powerful when we are doing something that actively I guess just kind of focusing on our passion, what we love, really ignite that passion and that drive. And I can see that in Mr. Ashmufara. Imagine if Mr. Ashmufara tuning into everything that is going on, to all the things that is going on. That doesn't help him, and that doesn't really ignite his passion and his drive doing that. He had mentioned there are so many times you are coming on, you're sharing your thought, you're sharing your feeling, you're doing what you do. You drive me, you give me that passion, that ignite that passion in me. And so, excuse me, to me, it's tuning in is really pay attention to the things that we love, things that really empower us or fuel our ambition, Michael, because when we're doing that, it changes our thought and it changes our mind in certain way, and sometimes when you feel like things that happen or the thought kind of walking you to the wrong way, you got to tune back in. And to me, Michael, the way that tune back in is maybe there's some podcasts out there that you love, like you can listen to that, or you listen to the show that help lift up your spirits. So I believe tuning in is the strategies that we all should focus on to not only help our personal life, but also help our business as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what matters to us, right? What matters to us, right? And so, if something matters, if something's important to me, I'm certainly going to tune in, right? If it's not important to me, if it doesn't matter to me, I'm going to tune out. You know what I mean? So it's to me, it's pretty cut and dry, all right? And that helps foster the type of people that we become. We always talk about being the best version of yourselves. This is part of that process, right? Knowing what to tune into and what to tune out, right? It's important. A lot of people, they take in everything, right? If you take in everything, it's very difficult to have a constructive life. Very difficult because you're going to be torn to the left, torn to the right. You know what I mean? There's going to be so much confusion, right? What is real? What is not real? Especially in this day and age with artificial intelligence, Julie. A friend of mine shared this video with me, and she thought 100% that this was real, right? She goes, "Oh, like it was something to do with making money, and the government of Canada was, had, the what do you call her? The finance minister was basically saying, all that the prime minister has to do is to just do this. He has the solution in his hand, and they're going through this interview process with this person that resigned, but it wasn't her. You know what I mean? This is all AI and deep fake and all this nonsense that's going on. But this person has actually thought that it was real. And I'm like, no, it's not real. Like if you just, apply common sense approach, right? And go through the article and read, because it's this long article. And they made it seem like it's in the Toronto Star and all of this, fancy stuff. It was well put together. But the bottom line is it wasn't real. You know what I mean? But if you're constantly looking for these things, though, Julie, you're going to end up down the wrong path because they will fool you. You're going to see stuff. You're like, but it looks so real, though. The prime minister is endorsing this. No, he's not. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth, right? So we have to learn how to tune out. We have to learn how to stay away from the nonsense, right? And focus on what's real. Focus on what's factual. Focus on what's going to actually help us be a better person, help us to be able to accomplish some of our financial goals and so on and so forth, right? Like that's what people have to do. You have to learn to tune out, stay away from the noise, stay focused to what is true, stay focused to what's going to help you with your future, stay focused to what's going to help create a legacy for you and your family. Stay focused on what's going to make a difference in your lives. And if you do that, Julie, right? If you do that, then you're going to be okay. If you do that, less stress comes because when you're tuning into so many nonsense, right? It's stressful. It really is, right? We see people losing money after money after money after money, like all these things. And that's because they're tuning into too many things. They're taking on too much noise, Julie. It's like, if you're in the swimming pool and you start to take water in, if you take too much water in, you're going to drown. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that simple. But you can still be in the water and not take all the water in, though, right? You can still maybe take a little bit in, right? Because, sometimes you're in there and some water get in your mouth, whatever, right? That's okay. So it's the same like where you have this whole noise, let's say, you take some of it in, you have to learn how to decipher what's real, what's not real. People send you stuff, you see stuff, right? You hear about this, you hear about that, right? But you have to be able to have, let's call it a spirit of discernment, if you wish, right? Where you have to be able to discern, okay, what's true and what's not. And sometimes all we have to do is apply just a little bit of common sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Okay, does this really make any sense? Does that make sense? Right? And if it doesn't, okay, I tune it out. You know what I mean? But too many times we get caught up with the hype. Too many times we get caught up not being true to ourselves. Something doesn't resonate with you, but you're still gonna, tune into it, right? Why? Okay, it doesn't resonate to you. It doesn't align with your goals. Doesn't align with your beliefs. You know what I mean? So why tune into it? It doesn't make any sense, but yet we do it though, right? So I think if we kind of go back to the basic, go back to understanding, okay, what is it that I want for my life? What is it that I want for myself and a family? How can I get there, right? What do I need to do, right? How do I go about it? If we start to ask ourselves these questions, Julie, then the answers, they come. The answers are there, right? Mm-hmm. It's there, right? And sometimes the answer is wait, right? Sometimes that's what the answer is. It's wait. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the answer is be patient. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth, right? But the bottom line is that people have to learn to be able to tune in to what makes sense to them and tune out to what doesn't matter to them, okay? Because if it doesn't matter, sometimes somebody else's opinion, Julie, is just that. It's just an opinion. That's all it is. It doesn't mean it's factual. It's just an opinion. Oh, I believe this, or in my opinion, this. That's all that is. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of people out there that get paid big bucks just to give their opinion. Doesn't mean that it's true. Doesn't mean that it's factual, but they get paid to give their opinion, right? And so we have to be mindful of that as well, right? Stay true to who you are, and you're gonna be fine.
Yes. And what you're saying, Michael, is that sometimes when you tune into something that you believe that is true or you believe that is the fact, and then you just stay focused. But in order for you to be able to do that, you really have to be fully engaged. You have to be actively engaged. You have to be mindful of what you're doing. And one thing that you said, common sense. What makes sense to you? What is a common sense in the situation? Otherwise, you will be, when you are tuning in too much of something, you will be get lead down to the rabbit hole or something that you lead you into the wrong way. So tuning into something is, I would say, focus on what you believe in, focus on our purpose. A lot of people are doing a vision board. You know, they cut out a vision board of their life, what they want in life, what they want in business, and they put it up. And every single day, they are only tuned into the vision boards. You know, everything else can be tuned out. However, when we are talking about tune out, Michael, it's about be selective. You tune in and tune out to the things that help you, that motivate you, that encourage you, but you tune out to the things that destroy you, or you tune out to the things that hurt you. One The other day, I heard someone said, when you're listening to something, you listen in one ear, and it goes through, right, your face or your body, and it dropped down into your heart, and it goes out. But if we are listening to something that's not aligned with our life, our vision, our purpose, we listen to it and we let it go out the other ear immediately, because we do have feelings, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we're listening to something, we let our heart feel it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's whether or not it's exciting, happy, or pain. And when there is pain, and I believe, and somebody can look it up too, when you feel pain, it changed your life, it changed your vision, it changed so much more, and it has so much negative effect you than the positive. Therefore, if when we're listening to something, that sounds doesn't make sense, doesn't align with what we're focusing on, it help untrap us to move forward by letting it in one ear and let it out the other ear. And yeah, and I feel, whatever makes sense, go with the common sense is the first thing I would do, Michael.
Well, years ago there was a premier. I guess it's similar to a governor in the U.S., and he ran his campaign on the common sense approach, right?
Mm,
And he won, by the way, right? Because it's something that needs to be said. People need to pay a lot more attention to what's common sense. You know what I mean? We really should, and that tends to keep us out of a lot of trouble if we do just that. But if we just think of mental pain versus physical pain, right? Like if someone is poking you, like let's say they got a sharp object and they're poking you with it, and you're feeling that pain. Like, are you not going to do something to stop it, to
mhm,
block it? You know what I mean? Are you just going to sit there and just keep taking it, knowing that you're in this great pain? No, you're going to try and do something to alleviate the pain, right? And so it's the same with mental pain. It's the same thing. If someone is saying stuff to you, right, uh, and it's hurting you, right, mentally, because it's not physical, right? They're not punching you or hitting you, or you know what I mean. But they're saying stuff to you, or you're hearing things, right, and it's causing you pain. Like, would you not block it out? You know what I mean? Like you would. Like if you're standing there, if you're in the sun and the sun is burning you, it's like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of it's so hot. What, are you not gonna find shade? You know what I mean, to block the sun, right? Right? You know what I mean? That's how we are as human beings. If something is painful, the tendency is to try to block that pain, right? And so people need to learn to do that when it comes to mental pain as well. It's not just physical, right? So if somebody's saying something and you don't like it, relocate. You know what I mean? Move from that. You don't necessarily have to respond to them, but you can just move away, walk away. You know what I mean, right? instead of staying there and engaging it and making that pain threshold get bigger and bigger. Like, it's not necessary, right? So it's the same. If I'm reading something, watching something, I'm in an environment, whatever the case may be, try to diffuse the situation by finding a solution to be able to limit or minimize or to just wipe out the pain altogether, right? And a lot of times it can easily be done just by tuning it out.
Mhm.
I'm tuning out what that person is saying. I'm tuning out, instead of I'm reading something, I don't like what I'm reading, so I just stop reading it.
Mhm.
Like, what I mean? It comes right back down to what? Choices, right? You can pick and choose. You can pick and choose what impacts your life for the most part. You know what I mean? There's some things that you can't get away from. If you live in a particular country and these are the laws and so on that governs the country, you can't really get away from it as long as you're within that country, right? So there's things that, to a certain extent that you can't eliminate, but for the most part, most things in our lives, we can eliminate, because majority of those things always comes back down to choices, right? I can choose, right? And so we have to learn to do that and to make the right choice in every situation, every circumstance that we find ourselves in. And it's as simple as tuning in or tuning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're living in this world with social media, right? With
Mhm.
people have free to comment, free to say things. And if we are tuning into all of those negativity comments and stuff like that, where you're trying to motivate yourself, but here social media and things, comments have been made and it was just really brutal, right? And if you are tuning into it, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna, yeah, right. It's gonna hurt us tremendously. So know that the fact that we know that there are going to be lovers and haters, there's going to be a lot of that. So we choose to tune into the people that help motivate us and ignite our passion instead of tuning into those negativity or negative comment. So when you are seeing something like that, for all of our social media friends, the best way is just don't listen to it. Don't even check it if it need to. There are haters and there are people that have very positive input, but there are people that have very negative input, and take one of those negativity and blow it up into portions and then make comment on it. So the best thing to do is choose what you're putting in. Well, we are choosing what we're putting in our mind and choose what we read. And the best way to do is either ignore it, don't check it, or just if you see it, just delete it out. That's the best thing to do, right? So for me, Michael, it's like this. When you are exciting about something, you're tuning into something, you find the people, you surrounding people with tuning into that same, I guess we can call it frequency, or tuning that positivity or that encouragement. And when we're doing it, it makes us stronger. It makes us more exciting about what we're building. And I'm tuning in with you, Michael, in these conversation every single day, because I feel like every time when we have this live, we're tuning into each other's thoughts and thought processes as well, because the people that actually listening say, you and Michael are always aligned with each other, and I feel that we are tuning into each other.
Well, when you talk about social media, Julie, it's a two-edged sword, right? Like it really is, right? There's good, right? Absolutely, and but of course there's bad, right? Again, come back to choices. You have people who use social media for good, and you have people who use social media for bad. It's just like pretty much everything in life. You know what I mean? A person can have a knife and they can use the knife for good, and they can also use a knife for bad. People have guns; they can use the guns for good. They can use the guns for, what I mean. It's just like everything that you can think of. Words, you can use words for good. You can use words for bad, right? Bullying is real. Okay, people need to understand that, and it's not just children that get bullied. Adults get bullied as well, right? So we just have to be mindful of our surroundings. Be mindful of our environment. Where do we choose to go? Where do we choose to visit? Right? It's no different than, okay, if you were aware of a bad neighborhood, are you going to just willfully go there just because I want to see what it's all about? I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Like, would you actually go there? I certainly wouldn't. My curiosity is not that great, when it comes to that. No. But maybe I can go visit it on social media, or go on YouTube, and you know, but I don't have to physically go there, Julie. You understand? And put myself in harm's way, right? And so it's the same thing with social media content, right? We can choose to go watch YouTube videos. We can choose to go to Facebook posts. We can choose to go all these different platforms. And but we can pick and choose who are we following on these platforms, though, Julie. You know what I mean? Again, I like to be in a positive space, no matter what it is that I'm doing in life. If I'm if I'm out on the driveway and I'm playing basketball with the kids them or whatever, right? I want it to be a positive experience. So sometimes I'll let them win. You know what I mean? Because I want it to be positive for them. I'm not going to go there all the time and just be winning all the time. You understand me? Sometimes you have to again, let them enjoy, let them gain something positive from that experience, right? And so the same thing goes for everything in life, right? We're there when we go through different social media channels and all these things. And okay, I come across something that's negative. My initial reaction is, oh, let me go send this to Tom and John and Susie and all these people. Okay, is this true? Is this true? Is this that's not my first reaction. You know what I mean? So people have choices in how they engage on social media platforms. If you're on a platform, somebody's bullying you, somebody's saying bad comments and all these things. Okay, block the person, delete the comment, whatever you need to do, again, to diffuse the situation, right? So people have to understand that. That's why we keep coming back to saying it's important. Tuning in and tuning out, it's important, but you have a choice. You get to choose what you tune into. People that are listening to our conversation right now, it's a choice. They don't have to, but yet some do, right? And the same goes for tuning out, right? It's a choice. You can choose what you want to tune out, right? If I'm listening to something on the radio and I don't like that song, I just change the station. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't sit there and listen to it and says, okay, well, it's going to finish another 3 minutes, so I'll just no, I just change it.
That's
right?
torturing.
Right? I'm watching TV. If a commercial comes on, I don't even like the commercial. I will change the channel just because I don't like the commercial, even though I know it's a 30-second commercial. It's so important that we tune out this guy up here, right? Her brain, her mind, right? It's so important to guard it. We have to guard our mind, right? So that means that we have to be selective. We have to learn how to tune certain things out, because sometimes, Julie, when something come across your face, it's like it's there forever. Like, you're going to have that image. It's like, it's like, oh, kill the vision, kill the vision, kill the vision, right? Because you've seen something and it's like, oh my gosh, it just plays in your head over and over and over again. It's like, you listen to a song, and then a week later you find yourself humming that song, right? It just pops back up, right? Because you were exposed to it, right? So it's important for us not to be exposed to certain things, because it will play over and over into your mind, right? And so we always talk about mindset and all of that. It's important. Tuning in, tuning out, it's a very, very important thing that we have to deal with, and just know how to make the right choices. People have to be very, very careful in all that they do. Again, not just for business, because our conversation is not always about business, right? Our conversation is really about life, right? It's about how can we empower people, again, just to be the best version of themselves, not to be like me, not to be like you, not to be like this person or that person, right? But how can we empower people, Julie, so that they learn some of these things? Because sometimes we take these things for granted, that, oh, everybody should know that. Oh, it is common sense, right? Unfortunately, common sense isn't as common as it should be, right? So, we try to share these conversations that maybe there's one thing that you walk away with today, right? Maybe you are that person that's always engaged in everything. And then now you decide, you know what, I'm going to be more selective going forward. Hey, that's a positive. That's a win, right? And we'll take it if just one person walk away with that in their mind today, right? And so that's the idea with all of our conversations, that people can just, take one thing away from every single conversation that you and I have. Okay, that one thing, it adds up, right?
Right.
One, and then two, and then three, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now this personal growth, this personal development, you start to see yourself acting better, doing better, being a better person, right? Maybe just within your household, maybe within your community at large, who knows, right? But this is how we make changes, Julie, in the world, right? It's always by sharing positive things, right? And some people will catch on to that, right? They'll lock arms with you, right? And they pick up good habits, okay? And they start to become a better version of themselves. And if every single person did that, that's how the world becomes a better place, and that's why I enjoy these conversations as we continue to do them moving forward.
Absolutely, Michael. Michael, years ago, I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer. If anyone that
Mhm.
follow him,
Yeah.
he shared this experience that he had when he released a book, and he has received many comments, letters, and he said, he said he went home and he looked at, read the letter. There's positive, negative. So what he did, he's put the positive with the positive, the negative with the negative, and they don't cross each other, right? And
Mhm.
when he does that, it's free him for him to move forward. The same thing with us, with social media, with friends, with people. When people praise you, on the positive side, when people don't like you, hate you, they put on the hater side, right? And it frees you moving forward. You don't cross them. You don't, like, when people are praising you, you bring it in, it makes you feel good. People here, I mean, we're saying we'll make our head getting so big,
Mhm.
right? But when people are haters, they things, and then it torture you. It torture you. So the best thing to do is, oh, if you're being the positive people, you're on my positive group. If you're negative people, you're put on my negative group, and I'm moving forward. I still grow. And so I think that's something that we should choose. And because, if, let's say, Michael, if someone said something very negative about me, and I came and I share with you, because it tortured me, I came and I share with you, and because you care for me, it torture you at the same
Mhm.
time.
That's
So
right.
the best way is just leave it where it is, whether or not it's positive or negative. If positive things that said about you, you keep it there. Because if you take it in too much, you get yourself, you get big head. Your heads get big, right? But if you take the negative in, it hurts you. So therefore, put them where they are, and yourself with the positive people, and it
Yeah.
helps you grow. It helps you tune in and tune out to the things that you don't like. And that's something that I literally take out from our conversation, I receive from our conversation. So I hope you do the same thing for everyone that's listening to this.
Yeah, definitely. Put them where they belong, right? Hold on to the good and let go of the bad,
Yeah.
right? It's as simple as that. So tune into the good, in other words, and tune out the bad. Let the bad go. It's okay. You don't need it in your life. It's not
Yeah.
going to be impactful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a positive way, right?
Yes.
It's not going to make a difference, in a positive way in your life. So why hold on to it? Why take it in? It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why, send it around and you're just, you're spreading it now,
Yeah.
right? You're spreading now, right? It does. Oh, did you hear that so and so said this about Tom? Right? Okay, is it something positive? If it's positive, sure, why not spread it? Right? Oh yeah, they said Tom's a great guy. Fantastic, spread that. But if they're saying that Tom is a loser, like why you want to go spread that? Oh, did you hear that? They said Tom is this and Tom is that and da 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 da, right? And then you take it and it's just not necessary, right? If you want to spread rumors, spread positive rumors, right? Put it that way, right? Spread,
Untrap yourself.
yeah,
Yeah. Untrap yourself from the negativities
yeah,
and stuff, and move forward.
mhm,
It's
yeah.
life is good, right? It's how we take
Oh,
it.
life is so simple, Drew. Like it really is, but we complicate it. We do. We complicate our lives. When it comes to everything, whether it's making money, whether it's friendships, it doesn't matter. We complicate things. You know what I mean? Life is very, very simple, right? It's like I tell my children, I'm like, listen, make things easy for yourself. Okay. If you know you're supposed to do this, just do it. So in that way, your mom don't have to say anything to you about it. I don't have to say anything to you. You know what I mean? Just do it. You know what you're supposed to do. Just do it. If you're at school, okay, you know what you're supposed to do, right? You know when something is due. Don't wait for the day before. You know what I mean? And now you're gonna start doing it. You had this assignment for 2 weeks. Get it done early, right? I rather get it done early. It's out of the way. Now I have the rest of the time to go do something else, right? So when you make life easy for yourself, Julie, you understand me?
Mhm.
Stress. There's no stress. You know what I mean? There's just no stress. When you're always in conflict, where you're always engaged in negativity, there's a lot of stress that's there, right?
It's too
To me,
much.
why would I want to put more stress? I mean, life is full of stress as it is. You know what I mean? So for some people, you have to get up, they have to go catch a bus and standing at the bus stop and it's cold and they're waiting and all these things. Car comes by and shh, and all this slush comes upon you, and you know what I mean? Like life is already stressful as it is. So why would I want to go and now bring more stress? Yes, please give me more, give me more. No, right? If you're on social media and there's a lot of negative comments on, you're not saying, yeah, please, please give me more negative comments. Please, I thank you. I love it. Please. No. You're like, oh, can they just stop? You know what I mean? Why can't they just go find somebody else to bother or whatever your reaction will be, right? So the thing is, stay tuned to wherever there's positivity. Stay there. Let that be a fertile ground for you. You know what I mean? And wherever there's negative, because you know where there's negativity. You know where you can go and see negative comments, posts, videos, all these things, right? And you made a choice to go there because I want to go find out what's the latest negative thing, right? There's just no need because guess what? Whether you find out or don't find out, it's not going to make a difference. It really isn't. You don't have no control of anything, right? And so if I don't have control about something, I just leave it alone. I just leave it alone. It's okay, right? Time will always reveal everything, no matter what. Always reveal everything. If somebody's lying to you, lying to you, lying to you, time will reveal the truth in the end. You know what I mean? That's just how life works, right? If you're in a relationship, right, and the person is cheating on you, eventually they'll be found out. You know what I mean? Like time always reveal everything, right? And so I'm a firm believer in that. So therefore, I just try not to take on too much on myself. It's just not, I take on too much as in work, right? You know what I mean? I love to be active, right? But I certainly don't want to take on too much when it comes to worrying about this and worrying, because worrying is not going to solve it, right? It's not going to solve it. I'm about solutions, right? I'm not about, okay, let's find more problems and more problems. No, right? If there's a problem that I'm faced with, or a challenge that I'm faced with, or issues that I'm faced with, and then I'll go find a solution for it. Because the problems, the challenges, the issues, that's what's going to bring stress. So if I can find a solution to it, guess what? The stress is gone. It's as simple as that, folks, right? So, I love the topic today. I love tuning in and tuning out because it's something that's important for people to understand. So thank you so much for that, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. I'll bring back what Mr. Mufareh said in the last posting and last update. Go write your own story. Don't let someone else holding the pen. And that is another strategy. Tuning in and tuning out is another strategies for you to use to write our own, for us to use to write our own story.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Thank you, Michael.
Take care, everyone. Take care, Julie.